Call of Duty Black Ops 7 releases in less than 12 hours, and I wanted to do a final video just talking about each mode in this game and what I think I will probably feel about these modes throughout the life cycle, basically giving my predictions for how I might feel about this game. I'm only basing this off of what we know about the game so far. Obviously, we played a bit of the beta for multiplayer and zombies, so I kind of have a feeling I know what this game is going to end up being like, but obviously we don't know everything. It's entirely possible I can come back to this video in a year and be completely wrong. And of course, I'm just speaking for myself. I can't speak for the entire community, but I will also share what I think the community will probably feel about these modes. So let's start off with talking about the campaign. And the campaign is something that I feel like is going to be underwhelming for the most part. And of course, I don't have much to go off of this other than just a gut feeling. There has been a few rumors from the Ghost of Hope where he mentioned that the people who have played the campaign don't think it's that great. I'm not sure where he's getting that information from, but just wanted to point that out. And I do feel like a big reason why Treyarch is so adamant on throwing all these progression systems into campaign this year all of a sudden, when progression systems were never a big part of campaigns in the past, is probably because the campaign is lackluster. I'm just assuming that might be the case. And so the camo grinding being thrown into campaign and all the weapon progression and cross progression with the rest of the game, as well as the endgame mode, is all a way to make the mode actually replayable for people who don't even enjoy the campaign itself. I will say, based on the trailers, I do love how the campaign looks though. I love all of the mind-bendy stuff in it, all the callbacks to Black Ops 2, Menendez being included in part of the campaign even if he's not physically there. I am excited for it. It's going to be cool to see David Mason there. Like, I definitely think there's going to be a lot of interesting ideas, but I just have a feeling it's not going to be executed that well and it's going to end up being kind of a disappointing campaign. But I'm still really looking forward to it, and obviously I hope it ends up being much better than what I think it will be. But I will say, I do think the endgame mode, which you unlock at the very end of the campaign when you beat the last mission, that might actually be really good. They have shown some gameplay recently, they've talked about it a bit, and it actually looks like it's going to be a fully fledged experience that is even going to get some post-launch support. Now, my gut feeling about this mode is it's probably going to get a decent amount of support in Season 1 and 2, and I think it's going to fall off really hard after that, and they're probably not going to give it a lot of post-launch support after the fact, unless there's a lot of people playing Endgame. But I feel like most people are going to stick to multiplayer in Warzone. I don't see a lot of people playing Endgame all of the time, especially because you have to beat the campaign to even play it to begin with, and a lot of people probably won't even play the campaign. But to be fair, they also probably will make it so Endgame is opened up to everyone, probably in Season 1 or Season 2. I doubt they're going to keep it locked to campaign forever. I do think I'll end up liking Endgame if it has a lot of depth to it, if there's a lot of fun little things you can unlock through the map, different secrets and Easter eggs, and if there's boss fights, then that's going to be really, really cool. I do hope there's a lot of zombies elements to Endgame. Obviously, we know there's going to be some zombies bosses there, but is there going to be like zombies wonder weapons? I honestly doubt it, but that would be really cool. Imagine you can get like the Citadel de Mort swords or something on the map. That would be incredible. The tomb is actually part of the map. It is part of Avalon. So it's possible that maybe they'll have like an Easter egg there where you can unlock the ice staff. Like I said, that would be incredible and that would make Endgame a lot more enjoyable, but I kind of don't feel like they're going to go that far with it. I think it's going to stay more closer to the campaign elements than anything. When it comes to the multiplayer, I'm pretty confident I'm going to absolutely love it. Based on the beta alone, I know this is going to be one of the best multiplayers in years, maybe even of all time. There are very few problems I have with Black Ops 7 multiplayer. I didn't love everything about it. Obviously, I had a problem with the fact that there was no pick 10 system. I don't like that we're doing the same class system as Black Ops 6. I don't like the fact that streak looping isn't in the game by default. Of course, you can get it as a perk, but I don't think it should be a perk, obviously. And there's a few other minor changes I have an issue with. Some of the UI settings are a little too similar to Black Ops 6, and there's just not enough to set itself apart in that regard. But the gameplay itself is very different. It is very unique. I love the wall jumping. I love the maps. I love how colorful it is. The grinds are going to be insane. They've already talked about all these insane camos you can unlock. The weapons are really fun to use. The score streaks are incredible. They are really powerful. There is so much to love about this multiplayer, and I really think it's just going to get better and better. I think this is going to be the most content-heavy multiplayer probably of all time. And of course, the most important positive of this multiplayer is the fact that they are finally reducing skill-based matchmaking to make it more like the older games. Now, people are a bit worried that this might not stay the case forever. There is going to be a strict skill-based matchmaking playlist available in the game at launch, but it's just one playlist, and the rest of the modes in the game are going to have the reduced classic classic skill-based matchmaking system. But what if they change that down the road? I really don't think they will, unless there is a massive difference in player retention between the strict skill-based matchmaking mode and the reduced skill-based matchmaking modes. So if we want to make sure that this game is going to keep the reduced skill-based matchmaking as the default system and maybe make that the only system for the core modes in this game, then we got to play the ever-living shit out of these reduced skill-based matchmaking modes. We probably shouldn't touch that strict skill-based matchmaking mode at all. I think this would be a massive slap in the face to fans, and it would genuinely make a lot of people quit the franchise, which is why I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't see them changing this at any point in the life cycle. I think it's entirely possible that Infinity Ward for Modern Warfare 4 will make it so by default there's going to be just strict skill-based matchmaking, just like what there's been in the other recent Call of Duty games, but I don't see this changing for Black Ops 7. I really, really don't, and if it does, that obviously would suck, but like I said, it's not what I'm expecting. When it comes to the community's reception of this game, I do think the hardcore fan base, like myself, we're going to love this game. We're going to have a blast with it. It's going to be the game that we all love the most since Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4, but I don't think it's going to be loved worldwide. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people are going into this game expecting to hate it already. There's people who hate it, they're not even going to buy it, and they're still going to talk about how much they hate it years from now because that's just how people are. They don't try the game out and actually judge it for themselves. People do that all the time. People are going to be talking about how much of a shitty game this is, and they're going to be like, oh, actually, I only played the beta for like 2 games. I never really tried it after that. This happened with Infinite Warfare. People tell me to this day they tried it twice, never touched it again, yet they call it garbage and they say it's their least favorite Call of Duty game. But it's like, how can you even make that claim if you haven't really played it that much? I don't know. But regardless, I think there is going to be a lot of hate on Black Ops 7, no matter what. Like, even if the game is doing everything right, it's going to get a lot of hate just because the pre-launch hype for this game was very low and a lot of people were already hating on it. Personally though, like I said, I think I'm going to love it. I think it's going to be one of the best multiplayers of all time. I think it's going to be better than Black Ops 6 by a lot. It's going to be better than Black Ops Cold War by a little bit. Is it going to be better than Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 4? I don't know. I think it's going to be very difficult to get better than those games, but it's very possible. If their post-launch support is really, really good, I think it can happen. I do hope they experiment with some other mechanics throughout the year though. I would love to see a slower time to kill playlist like 150 HP, just like Black Ops 4. I think it'd be really fun if they had a mode like that available for majority of the year, so we could just see how this game would play with a much slower time to kill. I would also love to see them throw in some sort of exosuit mode that gives you advanced movement with the double jumps. That would be really cool to see as well, just as a way for them to test out mechanics that maybe they can use down the line for the core game. But in this game, it would be nice to at least see some modes test out these mechanics. When it comes to zombies, I think I'm most concerned about this mode more than anything in this game, because obviously, like I said, campaign I'm definitely concerned about, but I don't care about campaign as much as zombies. I definitely care a lot more about zombies. If campaign ends up being not great, it's really not the end of the world, but if zombies ends up being not great, then we have a problem. And of course, with multiplayer, I don't have a lot of concerns myself, but zombies, I have a laundry list of concerns. There are so many things that I think could definitely go wrong with this game. I've talked about before that I didn't really enjoy the beta. I thought it was just kind of whatever. I just don't find the modern mechanics to be that fun anymore, and they really didn't work in a survival map without anything to grind for. Like, I just don't think those mechanics were going to work with that at all. But of course, with the full game, we're going to have the main map to play, Ashes of the Damned. We're going to have lots of things to grind for, and we're going to have Curse Mode. And Curse Mode is probably going to be the savior of this game for me. But even Curse Mode is sounding to be a little bit disappointing. There has been quite a few leaks over the past few days that have kind of shut down a lot of the things I was hoping to see out of the mode. For example, it sounds like there is not going to be a way to disable rarities in this mode, so you will have to stick with weapon rarities in Cursed. I have learned what all 9 of the relics are in Cursed mode, but out of respect for the developers, I'm not going to say what they are in this video. I want it to be a surprise for people when they load up the game, but I will tell you right now, I personally don't like the sound of most of these relics. They don't really excite me. There's not many of them that are that interesting. A few of them are pretty cool and sound like they'll be kind of fun, but most of them I don't really care about. They don't sound like they're going to shake up the game too much. They're not going to make it feel that different. They're definitely not going to make it feel more classic. At least a few of them will, but a lot of them won't. And the challenge doesn't sound like it's going to be that fun of a challenge. But I'm still really excited for the mode because it has no loadouts, it has no minimap, and it has the classic point system. That is enough to get me very excited already. The classic point system is going to be incredible to see in zombies again. So even if I don't have a blast using all these relics, at the very least, we will have the classic point system. That is great. And obviously there's going to be lots of changes made post-launch. They are going to be adding relics throughout each DLC season, so we could definitely get better relics down the line that make the game more like classic zombies or just overall more enjoyable, because like I said, the relics that are at launch just don't sound that interesting in my opinion. But I'm still excited to learn how to unlock them and try them out for myself. But I do hope they can make more changes down the line, including letting us disable rarities. I think that would be a great change to have. I want to see them try to implement a no armor relic and try to rebalance the mode around it. Stuff like this would be really nice. Maybe even a no salvage relic that lets us disable salvage, so anything that normally you would need to purchase with salvage instead is earned through other means. I think that would be a really fun relic. When it comes to the maps in the game themselves, I think they're going to be mostly pretty good, probably better than Black Ops 6's maps, but I still think there's going to be something missing to them. And of course, this is just a feeling. It is not confirmed, but I just have a feeling they're going to stick to the formulaic design of modern maps where they all have these streamlined systems and mechanics that they have to carry over into each map. We already know that's going to be the case for stuff like the salvage system, the score streaks, and most of the items in the game are just going to be carried forward into every single map. But I'm worried this is going to be the case for more things in the game, including the TED tasks. This is a great example I have just because it's something that I've had an issue with ever since Cold War, where they have the exact same trial system on every map in the game. Whereas back in the day in Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, and Black Ops 4, they made sure to have unique trial systems on each map, whether it was thematically unique or mechanically unique. And I do not want to see the TED tasks shoved into literally every single map in Black Ops 7. I think that would be a massive disappointment. It would be much cooler if they found unique ways to implement the trial systems into the other maps. For example, we're supposed to get a Japanese temple map near a volcano. I don't think TED tasks would look very interesting in that environment. It would feel kind of out of place. But what would be really cool is if there was some sort of ghost samurai that you had to talk to and they would give you different challenges to accomplish. And maybe you would have these honor points that would go up as you complete these challenges, and maybe there's a specific like selection of items you can buy with these honor points. I think that would be a really cool, unique system for that map instead of just doing the TED tasks again, just like Black Ops 6 did with the SAM trials on every single map. But I do think when it comes to map uniqueness, they will do better with the visuals. I think they're going to be very different visually, and I also think they're going to do a good job with having unique special enemies, because that was a big complaint with Black Ops 6 zombies with reusing too many special enemies. I don't think they're going to do that in this game much at all. When it comes to map depth, I'm not really sure what I'm expecting out of this game, because on one hand, I do think it's going to be much better than Black Ops 6, but on the other hand, I feel like most of the map depth is just going to be getting the relics for Cursed Mode. I feel like because of Cursed Mode having all these different relic quests, they're not going to have as many side quests on the maps. There's not going to be as many map unique features to explore and learn and find all these new systems to experiment with. Hope I'm wrong, but it's just an assumption I have. I do think the Easter eggs, however, will be much better than Black Ops 6. I think they're going to be a bit longer, maybe a little bit more complex, and of course I think the boss fights will probably be pretty fun. I think they're going to be very similar to Black Ops 6's though. I do hope they go into the direction of being more mechanically unique instead of just being bullet sponges, but I do think the scale of them will definitely be really great. I am very worried about the limited time modes though. I would love to see them actually put a lot of work into some permanent modes. I really want to see Grief return with Cursed Mode mechanics. Imagine playing Grief with the classic point system and no loadouts. That would be incredible, but I'm kind of worried they're just either not going to bring Grief back, or if they do, it's just going to be exactly like it was in Black Ops 6. And if they do bring Grief back, it needs private matches. They have to make that change, because if they don't, that would be a massive missed opportunity. And for the other modes, like I said, please don't do these really gimmicky limited time modes like what they did in Black Ops 6. First of all, there shouldn't be any limited time modes at all, but don't make them these gimmicky modes that don't really have much of a purpose in the game. And speaking of modes, if they don't put Cursed Mode on the survival maps, that's going to be a huge missed opportunity. I kind of got a feeling it's not going to be there at launch, but they have to add that in later on. I really want to be able to play the survival maps with the classic point system, because to be honest, I'm not going to care to play the survival maps much at all if we can't have the classic point system on them. And I think pretty much no matter what, Dead Ops Arcade 4 is going to be a masterpiece. It'll probably be one of the best experiences in zombies history, because Dead Ops Arcade 3 was, in my personal opinion, and I think Dead Ops Arcade 4 is only going to be an improvement. I do think Black Ops 7 Zombies is going to be the best zombies experience since Black Ops 4, but honestly, I don't think it's going to beat Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, or Black Ops 4. I just don't think it's going to beat the peak of zombies for me. But I do think overall the community is going to enjoy it. I do think people are going to be yearning for some more classic features features, which is why I hope that Cursed Mode can give us that with some of the relics down the line. But I don't think this is going to be the answer to fixing the problems of modern zombies. I don't think we're going to get that right in this game. I think maybe we're going to have to wait till Black Ops 8 for that. But I do think this game is going to have a lot of changes that we like. And clearly we already know there's a lot of changes that we like. So that is definitely a great start. And it's definitely a big step in the right direction. And last but not least, we have to talk about Warzone. I know a lot of people don't care about Warzone anymore, and honestly, including myself, I stopped caring about Warzone the past year or so because they've just not been doing much interesting things with the game. The maps have been kind of mediocre. They brought back Verdansk, which I thought was a massive miss because I don't like Verdansk that much, and I think it was all nostalgia, and I was kind of right because people kind of just forgot about the map after like 2 months of it releasing, and Warzone was in a pretty bad state for the majority of Black Ops 6's life cycle. But they have announced some incredible changes for Black Ops 7. And we don't know everything about it just yet, but it sounds like they're finally going to be giving us multiple maps at once in Black Ops 7's version of Warzone. My biggest issue with Warzone recently has been the lack of maps. I got really bored of Verdansk really fast, and then the only Resurgence map available was Rebirth Island because they removed Area 99. So there just wasn't much to play in the mode. You got bored of these experiences really, really quickly, and they didn't really make many changes to the experiences either. But in Black Ops 7, at least once we get to spring of next year, we're going to have 2 big maps to play. We're going to have Verdansk still available as a map, and we're going to have Avalon, which is really exciting. I really wanted to see Avalon get thrown into Warzone, and the fact that it is incredibly good. And in terms of Resurgence maps, we're going to have the brand new Haven's Hollow map. We're going to have Rebirth Island, which apparently is going to have some sort of cosmetic change, which I really hope they turn it into Alcatraz from Mob of the Dead or Blood of the Dead, of course. It was also available as Alcatraz in Blackout, and I would love to see them give it a cosmetic change to make it look more like that instead of Rebirth Island. And then, of course, Fortune's Keep is also returning, which is one of my favorite Warzone maps of all time. So I cannot wait for this. This is going to be really, really fun. I'm definitely going to get back into Warzone because of this. And they are also giving us a Blackout experience mode later in the DLC season as well, which we don't know exactly what that mode is going to be like. My guess is that it's probably going to be just like regular Warzone, but instead of having a loadout system, you don't have a loadout system and you have to acquire attachments as ground loot, just like you do in Blackout. And there'll probably be a couple other changes here or there. Maybe the time to kill will be a little bit slower to make it more like Blackout as well. I'm excited for that though. I think it's going to be really enjoyable, especially on the Avalon map. And I do think overall Warzone is going to have a bit of a resurgence. I think more people are going to be playing Warzone this year. I think more people are going to be enjoying it. And I know for sure I will definitely be playing it a lot more. Overall, I do think Black Ops 7 is going to be one of the best Call of Duty games of all time. I've been saying this ever since it was first revealed, and I still do feel this way. I think it is going to be very, very solid, and we're going to look back on this game quite fondly. I am worried about quite a few aspects of this game, mostly with campaign and zombies, but I still do think it will overall turn out to be a mostly positive game. I think a lot of us are going to be playing this game for a whole second year. When Modern Warfare 4 comes out, I feel like Modern Warfare 4 might be very different than what a lot of us want. And so we'll probably be playing this for a whole nother year, even after its life cycle, which honestly will be really fun because there is so much content to this game, even just at launch. There is going to be so much to play. I cannot wait for it. It is by far the most content-heavy Call of Duty pretty much of all time. I mean, just look at the amount of modes we are having at launch. There's campaign, there's endgame, there's multiplayer, there's zombies, there's even Dead Ops Arcade 4 if you want to count that as a mode. And then we're going to have Warzone and everything with that. And then that's not counting all the post-launch experiences they're going to be throwing at us. So there's going to be so much to experience, and I cannot wait for it. Hopefully you guys are excited. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Peace out, everyone.